Developing right now at 10.
A concert turns into a chaotic scene after an explosion in England. Tonight, the death toll continues to rise as investigators scramble for answers.
Is organized religion fading in the U.S.? Churches turning to new ideas to keep congregations.
And you watched it right here on KVUE, but have you thought about why we're all still watching? The draw that keeps us coming back. The Nightbeat starts now.
We start with the latest out of Manchester, England. Several explosions rocked an arena where artist Ariana Grande was performing. At least 19 people have been killed. ABC's Ariel Reshep joins us now with the latest.
Cell phone video capturing concertgoers fleeing a packed arena after the last act by singer Ariana Grande. The pop star already off stage when witnesses say large blasts rocked the area near the box office. Pandemonium inside and outside the venue as the audience rushed the doors amid a sea of pink balloons.
We just sort of heard a very, very loud bang and just sort of saw everyone running and screaming, and so we kind of just tried to follow everyone else out the building.
Police confirming a number of fatalities and more injured.
An explosion went off and it threw me through the first set of doors.
Social media alight with photos of bloodied patrons, videos and posts documenting the panic. A series of tweets from Greater Manchester Police confirming officers were on the scene of a serious incident, also sending this warning telling the public to avoid the area. Ariel Reshef, ABC News, New York.
We'll continue to keep you updated on any developments. You can download the KVUE News app to stay in the loop or follow us on social media. KVUE News Daybreak will also have the very latest information starting at 4:30 a.m.
Dry this afternoon coming out of a soggy weekend, but not done with those rain and storm chances just yet. Live Max Storm Doppler radar tonight quiet, although the clouds are thickening up with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Just west of us in the San Angelo, Midland, Odessa area, a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 1 a.m. Some of these thunderstorms severe as they're moving through Midland right now. These thunderstorms will weaken in a big way as they approach central Texas overnight, so we'll keep in a small chance of rain. Notice a front up in the Plain States. That arrives tomorrow with another opportunity of showers and storms for Tuesday afternoon. Drier and sunnier as we head towards the middle part of the week. Your full forecast is coming up.
Well, tonight, more backlash concerning the bathroom amendment. A Dripping Springs man believes passing this law could do more harm than good to transgender students, including one at his children's elementary school. The Nightbeat's Tina Shively joins us now from the newsroom with more. Tina?
Yeah, Quita, I spoke with one of the founders of a parents group in Dripping Springs that supports a third grader who was born a boy but identifies as a girl. He says the problem has never been among students in that student's classroom, but instead among adults at the Capitol, miles away in Austin. Andy Hutton is an area attorney who helps lead the Many Stripes One Tiger group. You may remember the group came to the defense of the girl at a school board meetings last fall after lobbyists met with school leaders after getting word that she was allowed to use the girl's bathroom. Hutton believes there should not be a law that develops a blanket policy for all students and testified against the so-called bathroom bill back in March. He says the district is protecting the girl from isolation and marginalization by allowing her to use the restroom of her choice, a decision that should simply be left alone.
And taking the decisions about what's best for the kids in their classrooms and putting them in the hands of lawmakers who don't know anything about the individual needs or appropriate accommodations for a particular child is a mistake.
I also reached out to the group Texas Values. I spoke to them at those Dripping Springs meetings last fall as well. They tell me that the amendment to Senate Bill 2078 is too lenient, adding in a statement from President Jonathan Sens, which read in part, quote, Texas school children deserve better than this, and there's still time to protect their privacy before the session ends. As for the girl, her family does want to remain anonymous, but Hutton tells me that she is thriving at her school. He hopes that this upcoming vote will not raise another round of unwanted attention for her. In the newsroom, Tina Shively, KVUE News Nightbeat.
A city employee is out of a job after he was caught with child pornography. 51-year-old Jeffrey Walters resigned from his post today at Austin's Health and Human Services Department. Police arrested him after finding more than 50 obscene images on his work laptop. Walters told officers he accidentally dragged the file into the drive while trying to delete images. He now faces a felony charge of possession of child pornography.
President Donald Trump is on his second stop of a 9-day trip overseas. He's in Israel pursuing what he calls the ultimate deal, Middle East peace. And former presidential candidate and current Ohio Governor John Kasich in Austin tonight for a book signing. While he said he didn't want to talk much about President Trump, he did say it's important to hope he does a good job. He says his focus right now is bringing the country together by bringing communities together.
When all we're doing is fighting, not just at the national level, but even in our families, it's hard to get anything accomplished for our kids and our grandkids.
Governor Kasich stepped back tonight on previous statements that he will not run for office again, saying that he's now considering it, but will have to do some soul searching first.
A beloved Austin musician has passed away after battling cancer. Jimmy LaFave died in his home yesterday from spindle cell sarcoma. His passing comes just a few days after fellow musicians hosted a songwriter rendezvous at the Paramount Theater to celebrate his life. Last month, shortly after his condition became public, LaFave performed at Threadgill's. We found him there and found out what made him so beloved.
I think he's just kind of teared up a little bit. I think he just means so much to so many people here in Austin, and his music is very relatable.
Before making his way to Austin, LaFave performed in Oklahoma, where one of his openers was country star Garth Brooks. For our full story from LaFave's concert last month, log on to KVUE.com. More sad news. Austin is mourning another of his musicians tonight. Bassist and producer George Reef also died yesterday after a year-long battle with cancer. This picture is from a GoFundMe account. Reef collaborated with a number of well-known artists, including Mason Ruffner, Charlie Sexton, and Joe Walsh. His friends are planning a musical tribute in his memory.
America's oldest living World War II veteran will soon be going home. According to the Statesman, Richard Overton will be released from an Austin hospital tomorrow. The 111-year-old was rushed to the emergency room last week with pneumonia. He had just celebrated his birthday the week before.
That is a tough guy for sure. Yeah.
It really is. He really is.
Well, you just saw it here on KVUE. Men competing for a Texas Sweethearts Love. Rachel Lindsay is the first African-American bachelorette.
And at 32 years old, she's also the oldest bachelorette contestant.
The Dallas attorney is smart, she's beautiful, accomplished, and her co-workers agree.
I think she represents what is a truly excellent group of professional women in our community here exceptionally well.
Rachel's colleagues say she's headed back to work next week, newly engaged.
So tonight we wanted to know why the show is such a hit and what does this say about the dating scene?
The Nightbeat's Brandon Jones found out.
Going full throttle in the name of love. This scene on The Bachelorette may have knocked Rachel Lindsay off her feet. It's a fantasy that lives deep in the minds of some and could explain the fascination with this show.
It makes love seem pretty easy.
Yep, it's so easy we turn to life coach Elizabeth Golembeski. She believes the show is entertaining.
This finger is ready.
But it should stop there.
This is not the dating model, I think, that normal people should take advice from.
Why? Because from extravagant dates to the beautiful people, it sets unrealistic standards on dating, not to mention all of the ups and downs of a relationship in front of cameras on national television.
It's the drama. I think a lot of us are almost addicted to drama, especially on television. The more drama, the better.
I never thought I would be back here again.
And get this, female viewers aren't the only ones loving all the drama.
Men are just opening their mind frame a little bit to see what's going on here. And wow, I mean, I hope they're not getting dating advice.
The best advice here seems to be date your way and hope love works out for you. In Austin, Brandon Jones, KVUE News.
Wait a minute, this blows my mind. So she's saying that's not the healthy way to date? Not on television?
Michael, it is not.
Oh, wow, who knew? Well, Rachel, you can find her tonight on Jimmy Kimmel Live. That's right after the Nightbeat.
We even got him watching tonight. It's kind of an
I had to do a little
show.
research, and yeah, you do get a little bit addicted to it, but I'll be okay.
Well, in other news, an obscure rule kept a Texas teen from getting into UT. Why she was denied.
And fewer millennials say they're religious, the impact it's having on churches.
Pretty pleasant evening. We've got temperatures right now in the upper 60s. Dew point still high, 64 degrees, and the wind's calm. Highs today because of rain this morning and clouds this afternoon, staying in the 70s, 11 degrees below average, at least at Camp Mabry. More rain tomorrow. That's next.
In Maryland, a teenager says her Christian high school is not allowing her to walk at graduation because she got pregnant. Any sexual activity outside of marriage is against the school's rules. Maddie Runkles says she did consider abortion early on in her pregnancy and believes she's being punished for choosing life.
I just couldn't, because I didn't think it was fair that I should take someone else's life just because I'm afraid of what's going to happen to mine. For other girls going through this, yeah, it's scary. It really is scary, but I mean, it really is worth it because, you know, at the end of the day, you made the right decision.
Runkles plans to take college courses online to stay close to her family as she gets ready for her son's birth in September.
65% of baby boomers say religion plays a very important part in their lives. That's according to the Pew Research Center. But for millennials, that number drops to 40%.
The Nightbeat's Michael Perchik looked into what's going on here in Texas.
Quita and Mike, we've seen churches make subtle changes to try and engage younger people. Whether it's laxer dress codes or more music, some of the changes have worked, others have fallen flat. So what's behind the drop in numbers, and how have churches integrated cultural changes into their teachings?
Most would tell you they think of Texas as a very religious state, but the percentage of Texans who say religion is very important in their lives has dropped 4% in just the 7 years, from 2007 to 2014. In fact, Texas doesn't even make it to the top 10 most religious states in the country.
And I think actually the decrease that we are seeing right now is going to take us back to a normal place. I think the last 50 years will be the exception when church history is written.
Reverend Dr. Griff Martin is the senior pastor at First Baptist Church of Austin. He's describing decades of religious growth compared to current declining rates. According to Pew Research, adults who believe in God, pray daily, attend services monthly, and believe religion is important have all dropped in this new century.
Today is the day that we recognize and honor all of our graduates.
There is the rising generation, the two generations below me. They're not going to put up with the traditional church and the way of being. So you're either going to see a huge growth in these churches and exodus from these churches, or you're going to see them give up on religion.
First Baptist Church of Austin is representative of the evolving beliefs some churches are now adopting. Last year, the Baptist General Convention of Texas expelled First Baptist Church for allowing same-sex marriage. Despite that, statistical trends would show Martin and his congregants may be ahead of the curve. In 2007, just 44% of all Christians believed homosexuality should be accepted by society. By 2014, that number jumped to 54%.
And we've seen those types of churches actually, for example, University Methodist here in Austin has experienced quite a bit of growth.
University of Texas Religious Studies professor Chad Seals says churches are trying to appeal to a wider base, from becoming more accepting of LGBTQ members to trying to compete with non-denominational churches, like Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church in Houston. Martin says his church has seen an uptick in membership, specifically amongst youth, since adopting these policies.
Please forgive where we have fallen in our lives.
Historically, Martin adds the church has always adapted, pointing to the teachings of the New Testament of Jesus and the 12 apostles.
And in the last few years, really probably for the first time in a while, we have seen the church start closing the doors and getting smaller and smaller. That church is on a path to destruction. But the churches that keep opening the doors, that's the very path of God.
The one group of believers that is clearly growing is the group that refuses to have a name hung on it.
The second pattern that's striking, which you're alluding to, is the rise in the religious nuns who don't self-identify with any religious institution.
In 2014, Pew Research showed 23% of adults were religiously unaffiliated, up 7% from 2007.
I go for myself to get a great experience, to feel the joy of, being in the house of Jesus Christ.
Globally, religion has thrived and has been resurgent, and sort of the assumption that the more modern we become, the less religious we become has just not been the case, and that's the same in the U.S.
What happens in the long run in Texas is a guess, But the trend right now is religion is shrinking and young believers are changing.
Seals noted that it's not uncommon for people to find religion as they grow older, especially when they are trying to start a family or pass along those practices to their children. To hear more from Seals and Pastor Martin, log on to our website at KVUE.com. I'm Michael Perchik, KVUE News, Nightbeat.
Pretty dry afternoon and evening after a soggy weekend. In the last 3 days, parts of the metro anywhere from about 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. We had pockets of as much as 5 inches of rainfall in eastern Williamson and also southern areas of Milam County. But it's a quiet scan now. 60s and 70s on the map. Different story as you go out towards the west. Building thunderstorms, some of which have turned severe, moving out of Midland and approaching San Angelo. The San Angelo area under a severe thunderstorm watch until 1 a.m. Part of this disturbance stretching from the Big Bend to Wichita Falls. And this disturbance is heading our direction, but it's going to be running into a much cooler and stable air mass. So a lot of this activity is going to fall apart. The best chance of rain we have is 30% and mainly in the hill country after midnight. But we do have another shot of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow thanks to this front currently moving through Kansas. That's going to be here tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. So let's take you hour by hour. Next half hour, we're fine. And then overnight, couple of showers and storms build into the hill country. And notice as they get closer to Austin, they kind of fall apart. So just a passing shower, maybe a rumble of thunder to the north or to the west overnight. And tomorrow, a good chunk of the day is quiet. Here's noon, even some sunshine poking through those clouds. And then as the front moves in, that's going to kind of ignite additional showers and thunderstorms. Nothing widespread, but a few strong storms will be possible late afternoon and even into the evening time before we'll be done with the rainfall by tomorrow night. Rainfall for the next, say, 24 hours, anywhere from a ½ inch to maybe as much as 1.5 inches on the high end. Grass in the low count for tomorrow, molds in the medium count. Your allergy forecast from the KVUE Storm Team found every day in the Austin American-Statesman. Well, the showers and storms yesterday were quite loud, but they were well below severe weather limits. Here's a shot of those clouds and showers in the distance from Manor yesterday evening, courtesy of Tina Hine, our snapshot for tonight. Snapshot at KVUE.com. Love to see your nature and weather photos. We'll share them right here on the Night Beat. So the chance of a passing thunderstorm mainly in the hill country at 30%. Just a shower here in Austin. 66 degrees for the low. 82 for tomorrow with a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon and evening hours. A chance that 1 or 2 thunderstorms could be strong. The main concern tomorrow, thunderstorms producing some hail. Here's a check of temperatures across the Lone Star State, ranging from 80s in Brownsville and Laredo to 54 in Amarillo. Our extended forecast looks like this. That chance of showers and thunderstorms, 30% tonight, 40% tomorrow. Behind that front, sunshine, low humidity, 84. Near 90 Thursday. We're in the 90s Friday and Saturday, and then thunderstorm chances creep back in at 30% Sunday, and a week from today for Memorial Day. I was looking at the Laredo forecast. They're expecting 105 on Friday.
Oh, wow.
So that low 90 here at home sounds just fine.
I was going to say, that's going to feel fantastic.
It is.
Thanks Albert.
Well, a trip to the dealership is all smiles for a local mom.
The surprise she got after signing to get a new car.
A great surprise for an Austin mother today after she thought she was just buying a car.
AutoNation had Elena Taylor go through the whole process, including signing the papers, just to rip up the contract. As part of a fundraiser for selling 11 million cars, they gave Taylor the keys for free.
She's a single mom living at Texas Baptist Children's Home.
Okay. Oh, this is your paperwork?
Yeah, that's your paperwork.
Okay, and there's payments on this car, right? Yeah. Not anymore.
I mean, you hear these stories all the time, but for it to actually happen to you specifically is just, it's mind-boggling.
Now, if you're curious, AutoNation tells us there are no strings attached here. Elena got to pick the car she wanted, thinking that she was buying it, and now it's 100% hers with no payments needed.
I would love for that to happen to me.
Gift.
That is a great, great story.
Absolutely. She probably thought, you know, can I go back and get the leather seats?
It's like, yeah, I think I want that big one over there.
She wouldn't do that. We would probably do that.
Of course.
All right. What do you have on there?
I had y'all put up your brooms earlier, but it didn't work. Spurs are about to get swept. That's all I have to say about that. Hey, how about this basketball news? One and done Longhorn saves the day for the Celtics. But does that inspire another UT player to leave early? We'll talk about that. And former Longhorn Ben Crenshaw gets very creative with the newest course for the PGA Tour when KVUE returns.